Row 22, 1 to 3 in black. Four and 5 in green. Six and 7 in black. Eight to 10 in green. Eleven and 12 in black. Thirteen and 14 in green. Fifteen to 18 in black. Nineteen and 20 in green. Twenty-one and 22 in black. Twenty-three to 25 in green. Twenty-six to 27 in black. 28 and 29 in green. $30 to $33 in black. $34 and $35 in green. $36 and $37 in black. $38 to $40 in green. $41 and $42 in black. $43 and $44 in green. $45 to the end in black. For row 23, 1 to 4 in black. $5 to $13 in green. All right, and I accidentally cranked it a bit too far because I was looking ahead, but if you just carefully, the pin that I need to change to black is right here. So I'm just going to carefully tie my yarn on in between these here and that, and then feed my black yarn through there and through the feeder. Can thread it through just because it's really tight squeeze now. All right. Carefully making sure that goes back under that pin, through the feeder. Okay, and now we're doing 14 to 19 in black. So making sure this 14 has it. Should be good to go. $14 to $19. $20 to $28 in green. This green is giving me issues now because it's not pulling itself tight under here. Got too many knots going on, so just be very careful, paying attention to the tension, paying attention to not dropping stitches, making sure the knots get pulled down over the bumps on all the pins. It's a lot to look for, so just make sure you're taking your time, be very careful. Where are we at here? 28 in green. All right, 29 to 34 in black. $35 to $43 in green. See how they're sticking out here? It's driving me crazy. But we're almost done. If you are having the same issue, fear not, we're almost through with the complicated part of making this beanie. Okay, 44 to the end in black. For 24, we're going to do 1 through 5 in black. 6 to 12 in green. $13 to $20 in black. $21 to $27 in green. $28 to $35 in black. $36 to $42 in green. $43 to the end in black. For row 25, we're going to do 1 through 6 in black. $7 to $11 in green. $12 to $21 in black. $22 to $26 in green. $27 to $36 in black. 37 to 41 in green. "42 to the end in black. For row 26, 1 through 7 in black. Eight to 10 in green. "11 to 22 in black. "23 to 25 in green. "26 to 37 in black. "38 to 40 in green. "41 to the end in black. And this is the last color change. And for row 27 all the way to 120 is just completely black. Be very careful until you get past all of these color changes before you start going faster. Dropping stitches is pretty discouraging, heartbreaking, very, very sad and frustrating, all those negative emotions. So don't rush. So my black yarn is giving me a bit of a hard time. I have been dropping quite a few stitches. So how I deal with that is just by pulling like this while I'm cranking. Trying not to go too fast. Just stay in a groove and just keep pressure pulling down to keep the yarn passing over every single bump on all of these pins. All right, now we're gonna cast off. So I'm just cutting a long tail of yarn. Take it out of the feeder. Make sure it stays hooked on the last pin. Very carefully crank one more row. And I like to start about here. Get the yarn in my yarn needle. And this white pin is where this yarn is coming out of, so we're going to start with the first pin right next to it and just loop it up, being very careful to not pull these loops off of either side of the little teeth. Okay. I always put my finger here just to make sure it doesn't slip off. Turning it carefully. And then once you get a little ways down, you can start picking up a couple at a time. Just make sure to not skip any. All right. I'll move my machine. And let's see what we made. It'll look a little wonky at first, but all you gotta do is just stretch it. And this will make all of the stitches nice and even. Looking good. All right, and to finish it, I just pull the tube inside of itself, keeping this little tail. So I've got the tube that we made folded in half. Excuse me. Now, taking this inside tube, we're going to take this tail and just pull it. And it kind of curls. Just make sure you uncurl it as you go. Don't pull too hard because you don't want to break the yarn. Now I put my yarn through my yarn needle and I just go a couple times around just to make sure it's extra closed, make sure a hole doesn't open up or anything. I don't have like any specific stitches that I stick it in. I just make sure to go around that hole a couple of times. And then I just stick it through and make a regular knot. It's windy. And then I double knot. Okay, and then I leave this tail out in the center. And now we're going to close this outside layer. Same thing, just take your tail, cinch it up, and it should be going the opposite direction. So I sewed around this way on the inside part, and then on the outside part, I'm going to be sewing this way. Just going with the flow of this yarn here. Also making sure to uncurl it as I go, and keeping this inside tail on the outside. Close up that hole nice and tight, not too tight so that you don't break your yarn. Thread through the yarn needle. And then just going a couple times around there, making sure this other tail stays in the center. Alright, and then once I've got that around a couple of times, I take both tails and I double tie those together to finish it off. And then putting these through here, threading both tails through the yarn needle. I then stick it through the center of both layers. And then I also double tie it on this side. And then cut off some of this excess so it's not so annoying to work with. Thread the needle again, and then just kind of feel and stick it through the 2 layers, starting from the middle. And then you can bring it out anywhere down here. And then it just disappears. Looks like some yarn from one of our knots. Just stuff that in there. Not a problem. And we did it.